Hello and good afternoon. I don't know whether you can hear me or not. The second attempt is here. We'll see if you can hear me. Um, if there's anybody there, let me know if you can hear. This might be a problem. I don't know what the problem is, but um, I have tried adjusting the sound. It's at 100% on the computer, and the microphone is claiming to work. So I don't know if you can hear me. If there's anyone out there, let me know. Let's see if anyone is coming in. At the moment, nobody. Zero. So I'm talking to myself. I must be a complete crazy. There we go. Anyway, here we are. And if anybody's coming in, please let me know. Um, it seems at 17 seconds that nobody is listening. So we've got one like. Um, I don't know whether that means that you can hear me or you just pressed like. Um, Hello, says Annie M. Can you hear me, Annie M? Thank you for joining. Um, and Keely and Tina T. And it's very hard to read all of this because I'm in the sunshine, but I do have a box around the computer, a fruit box. You can hear me long and clear, right? Loud and clear, long and clear. That's a different one. Um, it rather reminds me of an Inspector Morse episode where people made the difference between the long and the short of it and the short and the long of it. That was how a case was solved, in fact, because of the way somebody said that. I can't remember which episode it was. I should know that as an Inspector Morse geek. But there we go. You can hear me. Yes. Okay. Right. Absolutely wonderful to have you all here. Sitting in the sunny garden, the computer protected by a fruit box. Thank you to my lovely neighbor for loaning me a computer. I've got to work out the way of getting a new computer, and I've got some wonderful friends in England who are going to help me with sorting out computers because there's no point buying a French computer because the keyboard is extremely confusing. You know, it's like when I bought a computer in America, complete disaster area because it doesn't work in the same way because Americans do things differently and the French do things differently. Here in France, the weather is fine. The lovely wine is flowing. Um, we can't go anywhere because of the Harley Davidsons. There's 30,000 of them have taken over the local roads, so there's no point going anywhere. But we do have all the local newspapers, all the international newspapers. I've read the Financial Times this morning. I've read the New York Post, the New York Times as well, which we bought copies of. We've even read a very good newspaper, which I want to recommend to you. If you're ever in Europe, in France, it's called The Connection with an X. I don't know why it has an X. I think that's a little bit naff, but it's a very good newspaper. It's got all sorts of people, including Simon Heffer of the Telegraph, inside it. French news in English since 2002. If you're down here, it's not exactly cheap to buy. It's €6.25, but newspapers have become very expensive since nobody reads them. My mother wrote to me yesterday, said, I can't remember the last time I actually bought a newspaper. Well, I like to physically read newspapers, and we love the Financial Times. And I don't have it next to me. I should have brought it right next to me. But the Financial Times this morning brought back memories of my youth because there was my friend who I haven't seen in probably 20 odd years. His name is Damien Bradfield. He's in the Financial Times magazine today, and I didn't know he had created an internet giant. The transfer system. I didn't know that was down to him. We lost touch when he moved with his girlfriend to Amsterdam and never seen him since. And now it seems he lives in Los Angeles, and he was a double page spread in the Financial Times magazine today, which is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Well done to Damien Bradfield, a great friend. We used to have lunch every day when we were at university. We would go to the Carlton Club in St James's or the Avenue Restaurant in St James's Street or places like that. And he was great company. He was much older than me. When we went on a trip to New York with our university colleagues and the World Trade Center and drinks and everything. And sadly, I always think of the poor people who were in the windows in the world, and I have an amazing story about the windows on the world. So we were meant to be doing our field work of our, university work, going off doing what we were told to do. And I said, no, 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 I don't want to do that. And the rest of the students, we'd lost the teachers. So I said, well, why don't we go to this place that I like to go to, the World Trade Center? And at the top, there's a bar called the Windows in the World. You don't pay to go to the silly viewing deck, because this is the case in all of these buildings. It's like the same with the Shard. Don't go to the viewing deck. You pay money to go to the silly viewing deck, and instead go to the bar, because you pay $15 or whatever it was for a cocktail, and you pay $25 to go to the viewing deck. Why don't you just, you're only one floor below, and you get a beverage, so you can have a nice time. So off we all went. We'd been to see Rudy Giuliani, of all people, a bit of a naughty man, allegedly. But there we are. So that was that. And we got in the elevators, and we got to the top, and we had our cocktails. And meanwhile, this man came over to me, and he said, what are you all doing here? And he was with a Chinese lady. He was Texan, I think. He had a cowboy hat. He was most odd. Very curious individual. And he said, I'll pay for your drinks. We were students. I was like, why? Why do you want to pay for our drinks? And he said, I just need you to be in some photographs. So we posed for photographs for this Texan who was marrying a Chinese lady. It was obviously to try and make it look like it was a legal wedding. So there we go. That was my naughty thing I did in New York. And there we go. I don't know what became of those people. We never saw those photographs again, but we were all in those photographs. It was a very long time ago. But it was absolutely wonderful to see my friend Damien Bradfield in the Financial Times, and now I'll try and contact him. He doesn't use social media. He reports in the article. It was mostly an interview about things he liked. So there we go. It's wonderful to find an old friend, isn't it? And I urge you all to try and find your old friends. That's what I wanted to say, particularly as a positive note today. So there we go. Yes. You liked Kevin Whately. He used to visit your next door neighbour regularly in County Durham. Kevin Whately, great actor, lovely man, Inspector Morse. So have any of you any questions for me? If you want to ask me a question or you want me to talk about something, please bring it up now, because I'm sitting in the garden. We're having a bit of peace today. We can't go anywhere. So I thought, well, I'll just do a little random show and just talk to you, whilst I'm vaguely sober. I haven't got a glass of wine, but I've been on the orange juice this morning, and I've got Lady Min on the orange juice with salt. My neighbor, German, she's taken it up as well. Sadly, her poor son-in-law has just died, aged just 69. So my condolences to her. Absolutely tragic. He was only here the other day, and he's got a 45-year-old wife. Well, he did have, and it's very, very sad for them. So thank you to Tina De Silva, who's encouraging people to subscribe. That's great. The more subscribers we get, the better. There's over 5,000 of you. You're doing fabulously. I will be returning to my writing soon, once I have a new computer, but I can't do any writing because, I don't understand how to edit pictures on this thing. And I don't know, it's a bit difficult. Because I'm used to Apple, and but I will be getting an Apple computer. I've come up with a solution, and that's what I need. So, it's ridiculous that I have to say I'm reliant on this Apple. They're very expensive things. They are ludicrous. Lots of people are telling me I should not have Apple, but I don't know. I don't know how to use anything else. This computer is very, very kind of the neighbor to lend me, but the keyboard is very confusing because it's in French, so it does things a little differently. But the French like to do things differently, don't they? So there we go. It's super weather. Yes, I agree. Thank you, Amanda. Any questions? Let's have some questions from you. I sound like the Radio 4 show. Any questions? Any answers? There we are. Right. Okay. We've got Bruce coming in from Texas. I was reading about Texas today, and I've got a quiz question about Texas coming up in a future quiz. So Financial Times did a great article on a town in Texas where it's a bit of an arts hub in the middle of nowhere. It's miles away from absolutely anywhere. I'm not going to tell you the name because then I'll ruin the quiz question for the future. But there we go. Yes. Um, the reception is a bit glitchy for you in Australia. Okay, well, I'm sorry about that. I can't really do anything. Race car is a palindrome. Yes, it is. Race car is spelt race car in both directions, of course. So yeah, there we go, Mr. Lee Kicker. That's a good quiz question. I shall have to remember that. Race car. Perhaps somebody could send me an email and remind me of this because I'll forget otherwise. We've got boats coming in now. I don't know whose boat it is. Oh, our neighbours are coming in with their boat. They've got lots of fishing gear and they are on their boat. So there we are. I don't know who they are. They're not familiar ones, so can't be inviting them round for drinks. Where do you think you are going to retire? I don't know. I was reading a wonderful article about an island called Colonsay today. And there's a man who's trying to give away his fishery business, fish smoking business, and he's giving it away for free. So if any of you want a wonderful place to retire, I recommend this could be a wonderful thing. Obviously, he's had lots of cranks apply. The BBC shared the story, and today it was in the Financial Times or one of the others I was reading. And yeah, it's an island with a population of only 125. But there's another quiz question about the island. But anyway, I've given away a bit of a hint. But anyway, this man's giving away his business. So, but if you want a wonderful place to retire to, it sounds a great place to go. But they actually want young people because they need more young people on the island because there's not enough young people because the houses are very expensive because obviously there's no jobs there really of any note. So he's trying to get a young person, I think. But he's had applicants from all over the world. What a wonderful thing. I've got the St Tropez tan. Yes, I've caught the sun. I have this morning. We've had a little bit of rain. We've had a bit of grey sky. Now we've got glorious sunshine, and we've even got lovely flowers from the garden here. And we're going to have a nice lunch in the garden, so that will be very, very pleasant. Also, there we go. Do I speak French? No, not much. Pidgin French, not much, but I try. We all have to try, don't we? Wherever we go, we must try and fit in with the locals. That's a very important thing to do because local cultures are to be respected. So that's what I say. Yes. It's all loud and clear for most of you. Thank you. I'm glad to hear it. I'm trying to speak as loud as I can. There we go. So thank you very, very much. It's beautiful in Belfast. Well, Belfast is a fabulous place. I love Belfast. Very interesting. Went there only once, but obviously the Titanic and the connection of that and all the things are very interesting. Northern Ireland. I love Northern Ireland and I love Southern Ireland. My friend Nicola Tallant, great journalist. She's a wonderful, wonderful lady. Infiltrated, every kind of Kinahans and the IRA and all of that, and also, Sophie de Toscan de Plantier and all of that. So great stuff, fabulous. Lady Min is reading her newspapers upstairs, but she will be coming down shortly because we will be having lunch. We will have lunch in the garden because now the weather has improved. So, and there won't be too much sun because the sun moves over to the other side of the building, so it won't be too hot for her because she doesn't like the heat. Right. Yes, right. Any questions on any topics? Let's have some questions, please. And whilst I can do a bit of talking, I'll have a sip of wine. Please come and stay in our cottage in Donegal. Well, that would be very nice. Please, could you email me the details? I'd love to come and stay in your cottage in Donegal. I'd love to come and visit. Thank you, Sebastian Bluewater. Donegal is somewhere I've never visited, so I'd like to visit. Why not? Tina De Silva is waving at me. Thank you to Tina De Silva. That's fabulous. What did I have for breakfast? I had some raspberries, fresh raspberries, and some orange juice and some toast and a few other things. So yes, we do have a good breakfast here. It's very fresh and simple. It's very continental. It's not, I do love a good English breakfast, but I can't have that every day. So there we are. You're making cauliflower cheese. Cauliflower cheese is a delicious dish. I'd add lots of pepper. I'd add a bit of, a bit of spice also, maybe a bit of any kind. I love spice. I've been reading this newspaper, The Connection. It talks about how the French don't like spice and they don't really add spice to anything, but there are good chilies and things, and I like a bit of spice with anything. Mr. Lee Kicker suggests nutmeg, maybe. Right. How do I feel about the Kanye song controversy? I think Kanye West, or whatever he calls himself on a Wednesday, he's like Julia Wandell. He's completely nuts. He needs locking up for his own safety. He is a complete crazy. He is a maniac, and he's a mental case. We don't really need any more from Kanye West. Poor Kim Kardashian. I'm no great fan of these Kardashians, but I believe Mr. Kardashian, who was the lawyer for O.J. Simpson, was actually a very bright man, but the rest of them are completely insane. The whole lot of them are completely insane. Anyway, they're awful. Well, he's awful. And, he's coming out with all this Nazism and all the rest of it is appalling. I'm getting shouting in the background, but I'm going to ignore it. I'm very sorry. Yes, she does like to shout. It's not going to be tolerated. I'll talk for a few more minutes and then I will go and then we will prepare the lunch. But yes, you can't hear the shouting, thank the Lord, because she's upstairs on a different level. So there's nothing to be done. Right, you'd be very welcome to stay with us on Reunion Island in the Indian Ocean, says Lydia Burlott. Okay, thank you, Lydia. I hope I'm not pronouncing your name incorrectly. Is it Lydia or Lydia? I don't know how. I'm very sorry. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but there we are. What's for lunch? Well, we'll have a simple lunch. It'll probably just be a burger today, because that's what I fancy. I'd like a simple burger with a nice sauce with a bit of mustard, with Dijon mustard and all of that. But she'll just have it plain. She doesn't eat anything that's got anything on it. She just likes salt. And I'm trying to get her off the salt because salt is not good for someone in her condition. Right. Do I think that MI5 are protecting Prince Andrew? Yes or no? I think Prince Andrew is a disgrace, and I think, of course, he's being protected from anything. But now Virginia Roberts Giuffre, or whatever we call her, Virginia Roberts or Virginia Giuffre, is dead. Obviously, the world has changed. And his world has changed because now there's no redemption for him. He is a total disgrace. He should go to Siberia. He should take feckless Fergie with him. Fergie is an absolute nuisance. And we want to know still, Fergie, if you're listening, because you might be, because I do know that you have connections with watching people who I talk about. And, I have met you on multiple occasions. And honestly, Fergie, did you ever repay the loans and other benefits you took from Jeffrey Epstein? And Prince Andrew, your old mate Ghislaine and your stupid old mate Lady Victoria, who seems to be very mouthy, who claims that she speaks with Fergie all the time. She's not mentioned whether she speaks with you or not. So let's be having that. Let's be having the truth. It's time for a bit of truth from Prince Andrew, isn't it? It's a time for a bit of truth from Fergie. Fergie is a feckless, disgraceful menace to society. She should shut her mouth and she should not be on that loose women, because that's going to only make things worse. But Fergie always puts her proverbial toes, she loves a bit of toe sucking, does old Fergie. She puts her her bloody cloven hooves in the proverbial. That is what she's a specialist in. Fergie, a total disgrace. Right, next question. It's great weathers for Pims. We don't have Pims down here in France. I don't think they. I've never even seen. The supermarket. They may have it, but they did. They ran out of Tanqueray the other day. That was bad enough. I was pretty pissed off because they don't. They have this horrible Gordon's gin, which I do. I do not like Gordon's gin. It's 37.5%. A gin should be a minimum ABV of 40%, and I want at least 40. And I miss my number 3 gin, the lovely number 3, the wonderful Fisher's gin. I recommend these all to you. I miss Martin Miller's gin, one of my wonderful friends. Sadly, he died, but he was a wonderful, glorious man. He was Miller's Antiques Guides, also a fabulous person. There's a few gins. The Gilpin's gin from the Lake District, absolutely glorious. I recommend that to you. Right, okay. Right. Threshing grapes doesn't like a certain other person's channel. Well, look, I think Mr. Atwood, Sean Atwood, is a perfectly nice gentleman, and I I've been friends with him for a number of years, and I think that he does a great job with many of his topics. I don't agree with him about this Julia Wandell, and also, his friend Ron Swanson about this, but Ron Swanson is also a decent gentleman. Look, they're entitled to do things the way they wish to do things. I don't agree with their sentiments on this Julia. This Julia is a disgrace, and I hope they throw the book at her when she next appears in court, because she is a vile, horrible little rat. They may like her. I think she is bringing shame upon, other victims of injustice. She's just an attention-seeking little rat. There we go. Right. Okay. Right. Well, if anyone wants to send me an email, my email, the best email for me is editorial@thesteepletimes.com. If you wish to, send me information about where I could come visit you in Donegal or, in Reunion Island, and everywhere else, I would happily come and visit if I'm traveling. So why not? It'd be lovely to meet you all. And I do plan to do some kind of talks and some tours and talk to people. So it would be a wonderful thing to do, wouldn't it? You've just walked your dog, says Hatchy Hatchy. I wish I had a dog. I love dogs, and it's great to have the company, but I can't really practically have a dog myself, unfortunately. So there we go. Have you ever brushed grapes? Asks Waving at You. I don't know what brushing grapes means. I've no idea. You're in Solway. Solway. Okay, Solway. Tina, I was saying hi to Solway. Oh, well, right. Hello to Solway. Yes, I thought Solway. Well, I was thinking of the place. Sorry, got confused there. Right. Why is it that a lot of known people end up dying in car crashes? I assume you're referring to Diana, Princess of Wales. Well, in that case, it was down to Mohammed Fayed. It's entirely Mohammed Fayed's fault, because that car was a chop job. It was a car that had been soldered back together. So, that Mercedes was not a good car to be in. She should have taken the advice of her own security detail, and she didn't. And she should have worn a seatbelt, but she didn't. So she should have not have got in that car. She should have just behaved herself. But she chose to do what she wanted to do. Now, it's tragic that she died as a result, and it's tragic that Mr. Fayed's son died. But Mr. Fayed, look, he's got 111 victims of the people we know about. So he was a pretty evil bastard, wasn't he? Not a pleasant man. So there we go. Right. Okay. Next question. Okay. You don't think my broadcast is worth watching, says Ellen Mason. Well, okay, Ellen, if you don't like my broadcast, why don't you bog off? Don't care, don't need you. You are a pain in the ass. Whoever you are, go away. It's not worth watching. I don't know who you are, but there we are. So, right, okay. Right, you brush the grapes so they grow larger and the vine. Okay, well, that's an interesting thing to know. I don't have any vineyard, unfortunately, yet, but I hope to have a vineyard one day. It'd be very nice to have a vineyard. Um, you're at badminton, the horse trials, yesterday. You were at badminton, sorry. And Harry and Meghan have gone down massively in local people's estimations. Well, that's hardly surprising, is it? Megan is a complete nuisance. She's not a good quality person. She's not suitable for public consumption. Send her to Siberia along with the drip of her husband. He is worse. Looking good in the sun. Thank you. That's very kind of you to say. Compared to the rude woman who wrote to me in capital letters, why doesn't she clear off, whoever she is? I don't want you here. Don't need you. If you're going to be nasty, bog off. I don't like people who are unpleasant. There is no need for unpleasantness on my channel. This is my channel, and I say whatever I want. I sound like the Violet Elizabeth bot. I'll cry and I'll cry and I'll cry until I feel sick. Yes. Okay. There we are. So you can bog off, whoever you are. You're not welcome. We don't need you. We don't want you. You are a nuisance. Bye bye. Weakest link, as Anne Robinson would have dealt with you a little more appropriately than I did. But anyway, boring. Don't need you. Next. Right. Next question. Have I ever picked melons? I don't know why we're bringing this up, but no, never picked a melon. I've eaten melon, of course, but I love melon. I love prawn and papaya, and with a bit of melon. That's very nice. Yes. Right. Okay. Leslie is high, or hi to Leslie, I suppose is what you're trying to say. Uh, you like the fact that I'm cool with Eminem. I've never met Eminem, but I like his music. He's all right. Nothing wrong with him. Did I see Prince Harry go to the wrong door? Yes, Prince Harry went to the wrong door. Oh dear, we're going to have to stop the broadcast shortly because the bloody drilling is about to start again. They've had their lunch and now they're going to start making a racket. But we've done half an hour, so I'll be back this evening, and I promise to bring you more interesting news, and we'll talk about something else, and this time we'll manage a quiz. Yes, yes. Well, the mad woman is shouting at me, and it's not correct. How is the seafood in St Tropez? There is a wonderful place in the little fish market called Chez Madeleine. I recommend it to you. It's one of the best places. I've known multiple owners of that place over the years, and they supply all the boats, and you can sit there, and it's only open when the weather is good because it's an open air restaurant. So, but I recommend it to you, and I hope that you get to try it. Right. Okay. Amanda Roberts says, good to see you. Enjoy your lunch. And I say thank you. And I hope you all enjoy your lunch. I say cheers to you. Cheers to me. Cheers to me if we disagree. Thank you very much. And, before this bloody racket fires up, good gardening. Take care. There you go. You've got the racket. Okay. They think that the Harley Davidsons are quieter than these bloody builders. And they shouldn't be building on a Saturday. Anyway, take care and goodbye. Thank you, and pip pip.